it would be a boring world if we all did the same thing and knew the same things.
Yeah.
So it's, this just happens to be the one thing that I'm really good at. I'm not saying that I'm a really good writer. That's for others to judge. But of my skill sets, this is the thing that I'm really good at. If you can figure out where I'm going with that. And I think we all have that, and finding that thing that we are good at, that we enjoy and are passionate about. I think that's the most important thing anybody can do with their lives going forward.
Yeah. And how did you, actually, I was just going to say, how did you get into writing? But, when you're talking there, I watched there's another video of you on YouTube when you're talking about this, right? On that same topic about being passionate. And, it's a really good video, and I'll put a link, to wherever, if I publish this on the YouTube, there'll be links to that video, because I found that video quite inspiring.
Oh, great. Thank you.
When you were talking to, I think you were talking to like a group of authors.
Was it when I was in front of it was like a big group?
Yeah. It's a speech.
It was a speech. That was, I don't do many of those, but that was a writer's, retreat weekend or something. I mean, a writer's group or conference thing for people who wanted to write. That was several years ago, but I mean, the message hasn't changed really.
Yeah. It sounds similar. It's kind of like, you were saying that you were struggling to get published and you were just writing every day, right? For like 2 hours every day in the morning. Were you working at the time as well?
I was working full time. In fact, I was working full time through the publication of my first 2 novels, because I still hadn't made enough money from those to go full time, writing. But, it's like whatever dream you have, if you really want it, you keep working at it.
Yeah.
And even in the face of people saying, maybe you should give up, you're not going to make it. Nobody's going to, it's very seldom anybody gets a book published or whatever it is you're doing. Or say, you really enjoy, I don't know, whatever it is. It's something that you really enjoy. And it's something that is rare for people to make a breakthrough in. Well, if you give up, you definitely are not going to make it.
Yeah.
Right. But if you try, you have at least that opportunity. And if your passion is there and you keep at it, you are going to have a better chance of making it if you don't do it, because I can guarantee you'll have 100% chance of not making it if you give up. And if it is what you want, I mean, let's take a step back. A lot of people say that they want to write a book. You hear this. Oh, I want to write a book, all this time. What they want to write one book maybe, or they just think, oh, I can do that. It's easy. Oh, I have one story in me and stuff. But they're not passionate about it or anything like that. And, the passionate people, for instance, who are writers, who want to be writers, we're not saying I want to write a book. I want to write books. I want to just, this is it. I can't not write.
Right.
And the only way I'm going to make it is if I write every day, or if I keep pursuing this. Now, I will say there were different points in my life as I was, because I'd wanted to be a writer since I was very young, actually. Yeah. But, life takes its little curves, and through my 20s, I did some writing, but I never really finished anything. And then other things got in the way. There were a few years here and there, I wasn't writing hardly at all. But I finally said, okay, if I really want to do this thing, I need to just pursue it with all my might. And so I started writing before work. I'd get up early because I knew I had to take whatever time available to me. And the time available to me was either before work or after work.
Right.
And so I did 2 things. I moved to a place that was very close to my office. And in Los Angeles, it's very unusual. I could walk to work, which is really unusual in LA. So I cut down my commute time. And I would get up early and write for an hour or 2, go to work. And in the evenings, I'd write for another couple hours, right. And I do this almost every day. That would just be my routine, because I wasn't going to make it otherwise.
Right.
I wrote 4 novels before I sold one. And two of those novels have never been published and never will be because they're terrible. But they're like anything. You got to practice. You got to finish to know that you can.
Right.
And you know there's going to be mistakes in that. One of the things that back in the States when people ask me, so I'm not quite sure if this analogy will completely translate, but it's a baseball analogy, and that is okay. The biggest team in baseball basically is the New York Yankees. It's what everybody there knows. If you decide you want to play baseball, that first day you go out to play baseball, they're not going to put you into the starting lineup for the New York Yankees playing center field, which is the premier position or whatever, on that very first day you play, because you've never played before. You don't know anything. You have to spend years learning the game and getting better and better and better. And you have to dedicate yourself to figuring this stuff out. And so, it's just like for me, for writing those books were me practicing. Right. As I'm going forward. I did try to sell them. Thank God they didn't, but I did try to sell them. But they helped improve me so that the third book I wrote was The Cleaner, which is the first book in the Jonathan Quinn series. So that's the book it sold, but I wrote a whole nother book after that before it sold because it took about a year for somebody to buy that. So.
Right.
Now we're going to ask the next two.